All right. The relentless game, turning life's chaos into power. So, Coach Christian and myself here today. So, like, one of the things that this pisses me off more than anything, let's get right into it, is the other day I have individuals in my that I deal with. I've been dealing with this forever, but guys will sign up, or they will have like a weekend event, or they'll have some type of business event that they go to, or it may be somebody that's a new client that's just getting started, and they're interested, but then something happens and they go, "Hey, I'm going to push it back. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do this later on." And the other day I did a Instagram story, and I kind of lost it in the Instagram story because I had just had a guy, like I had multiple individuals just like one after another cancel or not follow through. And I just lost it. Nothing crazy, just frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate. The reason I'm passionate at what I do. And so like when stuff like this happens, it frustrates me because I know on the other side that the clients that come in that are at that point, that they're kind of hesitant, but at the same time, they're willing to and open to learn, like they get results. And it don't matter what business it is, whether it's the Vitality Mill or it's like the Grill Alliance or whatever it is, it's just like it works when the clients work it. So when you know you have someone, I feel like it's my moral obligation that if I have someone that I know needs what we're doing, that if I don't get them to come in and work, then it's like one of those things where I've let them down. So the reason why I'm so passionate on that is like, that's why I was saying in that Instagram story the other day, was because I spent 18 months, and I used to be the guy that would, things happen and I wouldn't attack it and wouldn't worry about it and push it off. And it got me into a lawsuit that was 18 months because I didn't look at the facts and I didn't look at the contract that I signed. And I ran into an 18-month lawsuit, my former franchise. And that was a time in my life. I just lost my father. I go in, buy a building, have an 18-month lawsuit I go through. There was a dark, dark time in my life, and I struggled big time mentally. I didn't take care of myself physically like I needed to. And I guess I still was working out, still doing stuff. That kind of kept me sane, actually. But I just, decisions food-wise and things like that, I definitely wasn't taking care of myself. And other things, alcohol and everything else as far as that. So I look at that time in my life, though, like it sucked. I was like ready to finally get my business and take my business to another level now that I had the building and things like that. And then I run into that lawsuit. But I know that happened at a time where God was like slowing me down. And he was slowing me down, and he was making me look back over my and learn skill sets and learn mindsets to get me to a place to where I could sit here or in front of another guy, and a guy comes to me that his wife's divorced him, or a guy comes to me that he just lost his, just had a baby that was stillborn, or a guy that comes to me where I just had a baby that has Down syndrome, or whatever the situation is, and whatever the problem is, that I can sit there and I can be anchored because I've been through the crap. But I know that I learned those skill sets and that mindset, and that version of me now had to go through that to be this version of me now. And so that's why I get so frustrated.
Yeah. Well, you're passionate, man, because you've lived out the results. Like, you've done it over and over again, and you see what it's done for you, and you care on another level, and you know that God has called you here to serve. And that's what you want to do, is allow people to experience that too. So that's why whenever they don't take action, it's frustrating. You're just like, dude, I'm living it. I'm the proof right here. And so I want you to be able to win at this level too. But if you continue to not take action, you're going to continue to stay stuck. And so it's just your care and the love that you have for people that fires you up so much, man. And that's...
Yeah, I think it's misconceived sometimes, right? At the same time, so like I'll get frustrated because I want people to win, So like, what do you think mindset wise? What do you think it is that keeps people from, when there's a problem
Mm-hmm.
and there's some type of obstacle, to say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna push this off, because you work with a lot of people with fitness and stuff, and so you get to see it. What do you think what's the mindset, do you think? What has to be that shift for them to make them be the person that actually follows through and like shows up, and even with there's an issue, shows up and does it?
Well, I think people just need that push. Sometimes you just got to call them out on the reason that you're not, the reason that you're in the position that you're in right now is because you haven't been taking action. So what happens if you do? And you've showed me, we've had people that I've tried to sign up, and, I tell them, or I'll tell you, you're like, did you get them? I'm like, bro, like, they're too busy, or it's too expensive. And they have all these excuses. And you're like, bro, you have to show them that, like, times are never going to slow down. We're busy at all times, but you have to show them. I love the capacity thing that you told me, is you look at your plate and you go, I can't put one more thing on this plate here. But what you don't realize is you got a lot of wasted room on that plate. Once you start taking things that aren't that important, and you can kind of look at it from a broad scan of like, I could probably, take this out. I could probably get up a little bit earlier. I could probably have a night routine and get to bed a little bit earlier. And then you start to do that, and it actually opens up all this room, and your plate gets bigger and bigger. And so showing people that, and then just getting them to take action. And then once they take action, all the time clients go, Christian, I appreciate you giving me that push. I didn't think I was even capable of that. And so I think it's calling them out on it, calling them out on their crap of like, hey, the reason that we're in this position is because you haven't been taking action. So just take that leap of faith. Just take action.
So we were at our Bible study at the Vitality Mill on Saturday, and we had a gentleman. We were going through, and we went through Galatians for, it seems like, for months, even though it's 6 chapters. We went through Galatians, and like legit, we did.
Oh yeah, I know.
Anyway, so it was like, I get it. I cannot perform. I will not get in heaven by performance alone. I get it. You do not tell me that again, Paul. I understand that. With that though, it was a verse, you reap what you sow. And there was a guy in the, that is like, theology wise, is a genius. Like, he's super smart with it. He understands it. And the things he says and how he explains it, it's just like, I'm always like amazed by it. And I was listening to him, and he was like, he's come in here and worked out before, and he come in and he gets injured. And he's like, he told me when he first started, and he'd come in, that he's like, every time I get started, Seth, I get injured. Something happens and I get injured. And so I'm like, okay, like, I get it. And it happens. Like, it did happen. He had to have shoulder surgery. Then he had to have so he listed all these surgeries he's had to have, and all these problems that every time he gets started. And I, in the group setting, I didn't say anything to him. I let it go. And then when we left, and it was over with, and he was fixing to leave, and he said something to me. I was like, see, Seth, I told you, every time I get started, I get injured. And he's like, I'm not trying to sow this. This is not what I'm trying to sow. And I said, but it is what you're sowing, because you're going into working out. And when you go into working out, you've told yourself already, you've put your focus on that you're going to work out and you're going to get injured. And so then you're like, you have no faith at all that you're stepping into, and like, I'm not going to get injured this time. No faith. Instead, it was, I'm going to get injured. This is definitely going to happen. And so like, you are sowing that, because what you put your focus on is what you get, kind of deal. And so I say that because if you're putting your focus on that the obstacle is what's stopping me, like, that's the obstacle that's stopping me, is like, okay, well then let's find the skill set or the mindset that I'm going to have to build that's going to help me get over that obstacle. Because I'll have you consider that at some point that obstacle is going to continue to pop back up, and like, you can either go through the obstacle and figure it out, or you can continue to try to like run right into it and like not have the capacity, not have the strength, not have the mindset, not have the things that you need to get through it, the accountability or whatever it is. or the map of how, hey, this is the shoes that you need to put on and start climbing through that, over that bad boy. You don't have that because you keep on going, oh, there's an obstacle, and then you turn around, you go the opposite direction. And guess what? You go in the opposite direction, and that obstacle pops back up because sooner or later, you know the way that you're supposed to go. And you know the version of you that you want to become. But you keep, and it's going to be either that obstacle is going to get bigger and bigger, harder and harder, and more difficult to overcome, or it's just going to be like nut up and just start to go, hey, I need to do this, and I would really like to roll over this obstacle with you, bro. Can you go with me and let's do this? And then we get over it and you figure it out, and then you become a different version of yourself. And then the next obstacle comes, like, come on. It's like Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers, you play a level, you get done with the level, and then there's a harder beast at the end of the next level that you've got to defeat. But you don't just play Mario Brothers and get to level 1 and beat it and then go like, I made it to this level. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm just going to stay here. No, you're like, damn, I want to save the princess. I want to get to Bowser. And you get to Bowser, and guess what? There's Mario 2. And you start that same thing. Level 1. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. It's life. That's it. Like, quit stopping. Quit getting in your own way. Quit telling yourself stories that are not true, and start to, like, understand that, like, that version of you that's here right now, you're never going to get to see the guy that God created you to be until you start to run into the resistance. The resistance means go. And that was my biggest insight going through my lawsuit was, it's like, whenever I feel some type of resistance, whenever there's an obstacle, whenever there's fear, that means I need to go because there's something bigger that I'm fixing to learn. And so, like, yeah, life's going to be hard, but you get there, and you hear this all the time, so I don't really want to, like, get into the whole, like, gimmicky, choose your hard. Mm-hmm. But it's true. Like, get to choose. And, like, yeah, it's going to suck for a little bit, but on the other side of it, you're going to be like, look what I accomplished. Look what I did. So.
Well, not only that, man, get yourself out of that box of thinking the only way that I can achieve what I want physically is through working out. There's so many other, that's what I love about life. There's so many other strategies to get to that area that you want to get to. So yeah, maybe we can't lift weights, and, you know, like he talks about, you know, I can only do 5 pounds. Cool. That's where we're going to start. We can do 5 pounds. You walked in here. I bet we can get some steps. I bet we can get a little bit more steps every day. Nutritionally, like, arms are functioning. We're good there. Let's start to put better things into our mouth. And so there's all these other strategies. That's like saying, oh man, I'm on a work trip, so I can't be a good husband. Like, bro, just because you're not there physically with your wife doesn't mean that you can't be a good husband just because you're distant from her right now. Call her. Do something you still invest into your marriage, and you still can invest into all these other things. That there's not one route that you have to take in order to level up your life. And so get yourself out of that box of, this is just where I'm at and this is who I am. Like, invest into all these other areas, and that's going to allow you to get outside of that box. And eventually it just takes time to level up that specific thing that he's wanting to level up. And so, like, he just has to keep investing into all these other things, and that creates the confidence that he knows he can get out of that box and out of that hole.
Yeah. So that's ultimately with, I think a big piece of this with guys is, and that's why with phase 1 of, like, the program that we start guys with is, like, we've got to physically and mentally, we got to start investing, but also spiritually, like, we get them in the Bible stuff. That's like, when those 3 are overcome, where we're going like, okay, I've got this habit, I'm getting the Bible every day, and I'm learning and taking some type of action. But I'm also, on top of that, I am physically taking care of myself. And like you said, it could be just like mobility and flexibility, just to warm up, just walking and getting and starting something, but you're making momentum and you're making progress, which makes your mind the happiest. But then also on the other side of that, nutritionally, obviously, but then mindset, starting to change the way that you think, and getting around guys like us that, like, you know me, like, I'm going to call you out and I'm going to say something that is, like, uncomfortable to the guys I work with. It's kind of what I call a throat punch, that I'm going to say something, and when I say it, they're like, ugh. But at the same time, I'm going to follow it with the pull in of giving a compliment and then loving on them as well, and being like, hey, bro, you got this. I got your back. Let's do this. you need a brotherhood, and we're offering different levels of a brotherhood. We've got the Relentless Faith Bible Experience. It's free. It's Friday, every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Time. It's all done online on the Zoom. That's a free way to get into do the Bible stack and just get around other guys. Powerful. The other side of that is we have the Guerrilla Alliance as well. And the Guerrilla Alliance is only just like where we get started is, like I said, we're getting started with the fitness and the mindset, and we're getting you in the Bible stack and teaching you how to do that. And this is going to change the way you think. This is going to change your body and the way you feel. And then obviously you're going to get more confidence. You're going to get some momentum and you're going to improve because you're getting in the Bible daily. And then you're getting around other guys. But also on top of that, you have accountability. You have a system and structure, which leads to discipline because a plan creates discipline. So those are the two things that we want to invite you in on. If you're around the local of Yukon, we also have our Bible study on here every first, third, and now fifth Saturday at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. So and that's live at the Vitality Mill. So tons of different options, but you can go to my bio, Seth.P.Humphrey. Where in that bio, you're going to see the Bible stack. You're going to see the Relentless Faith. You're going to see my YouTube channel. You'll see a place to go in to get Gang to 180. So we have different options there. So what's your Instagram? And then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, my Instagram is boo_trains6. So boo_trains6.
So for Christian, I would love to get you at the Relentless Faith Bible Experience. Would love to work with you. So give me a follow. Let's start a conversation, and we will go from there. Have a great day.
This is a relentless game, turning like chaos.